Hey guys, welcome to the Thinking Habit. I am your host, Beta Mejia. And today, before we dive deep into today's lesson, I want to share something personal with you guys. We are going to be talking about mental loops and how we can start breaking them. So, for years, myself, I lived on autopilot, repeating the same thoughts, making the same choices, and feeling stuck in the same emotions. I didn't know it at the time, but I was caught in mental loops myself. Patterns built from unprocessed pain, old survival habits, and beliefs that were not even mine. It took deep inner work, unlearning, and full accountability to start breaking these mental loops. And that's why this podcast is existing today. The thinking habit isn't just a name or a website, it's actually a method, mindset that I've developed, a way of reclaiming your power by becoming aware of the thoughts you're rehearsing and learning how to choose new ones. So if you have ever felt stuck in your head, this lesson is for you. This video that we're gonna dive deep into is for you. So let's get started with it. We're gonna start off reviewing a couple of the things that we have up on the screen. Basically, we're gonna start with you are not the loop, you are the pattern breaker. This is our little mind code map that we're gonna try to stick to today's lesson and go from there. So, where we train the mind, reclaim our awareness, and break free from patterns that keep us stuck. So, again, today's lesson is about mental loops, why they form, why they're there to begin with, how they keep you repeating the past, and how you break free. Starting today with a simple process, which is the loop interrupt ritual, which we're going to be going over in today's lesson. So basically, what is a mental loop? And so it's a recurring thought. It's a plus a repeated emotion. So they're together. The thought invokes the emotion, and they keep you on a loop. It becomes automatic. It's very familiar to you, and you're unconscious that you're doing it. So, like I said, a mental loop is just a thought pattern that runs on autopilot. It feels like truth to you, but it's really just repetition. You've been doing it for a long time, so it's repetitive, especially when it's paired with a very strong emotion. It conditions the mind and the body to believe that it's real. So, mental loops form when a thought and a feeling get paired together. So many times that your brain just wires them into a habit. And so this is how it works step by step. You have an emotional event happen to you. Maybe it's like you're rejected, you fail, some kind of abandonment, some kind of shame or betrayal. So, an example would be somebody that you love ignored your message. This is just an example. Um, and that would create that emotional event in your mind. And so then you would have a thought in response to what just happened. The thought could be, I'm not important. I must have done something wrong. Well, no one ever shows up for me. And so when you have a thought, that thought, if it's strong enough, it's going to invoke an emotion within you. So you will feel an emotion because of that thought. And so the emotion could be you're sad, you get angry, you get fearful, maybe the fear of being alone or losing this person, or you might feel shame. And so the brain will connect the thought and the emotion together. Your nervous system will memorize it as a pattern. This is neuroplasticity in action. And the more it repeats, the stronger the loop becomes. Over time, it becomes automatic. So you start thinking those same thoughts without a trigger. And your body is so familiar with the emotion that it seeks it out. Even if it hurts you, your body will start seeking it out. This is why people replay painful stories. They scroll for drama or stay in toxic patterns. And that's because the brain is addicted to the emotional hit that they're getting every time this happens. Okay, so let's go over some of this stuff again. The mental loop is a thought pattern that runs on autopilot. It feels like truth to you because it's just really repetition. And repetition, especially when it's paired with a strong emotion, conditions the mind and the body to believe it's real. And so every time you think a thought, your brain releases a chemical. That chemical creates a feeling. When you think the same thought and feel the same feeling over and over again, you wired it in. Eventually, your body memorizes the emotion and it starts running the show. This is why you can wake up feeling defeated before the day even begins. The body is not in the present, it's reliving the past. You're not creating something new, you are replaying something memorized. So it keeps you in the past pretty much. And so why does the body become addicted to the loop? So we're going to go over to here. Number 2, why the body gets addicted. The body memorizes emotional states. And it craves the familiar. So it's going to crave what is familiar to the body. In your case, or in anybody's case, if they've been feeling fear, doubt, guilt, the body gets addicted to those emotions and those hormones that are released, and that's why it becomes familiar to the body. Over time, your body doesn't just recall the thought, it also recalls how it feels, how the body feels to the emotion. So let's say you've spent years thinking, I'm not good enough. It never works out for me. I always mess things up. These are all thoughts that a lot of us have. Over time, your body doesn't just recall those thoughts. Your body's going to also want to recall the emotions of it. And so your body expects it. It expects you to think, I'm not good enough, and it seeks it. It seeks it because when you have the thought, your body releases hormones and the body feels those hormones. And so it becomes addicted to those hormones. And over time, you do that, it becomes automatic. And so basically, a thought will trigger the emotion. So we were talking about failure. Let's say something reminds you that you know, of failure. You think, oh, I'm always messing things up. That thought triggers a familiar emotion, which could be shame, sadness, or self-doubt. Then the emotion is going to feed the loop. That emotion is sending chemicals like cortisol or adrenaline through your body. And your body starts to feel what the thought is saying. So now your nervous system is in survival mode. It's alert, it's reactive, it's anxious. You're like in this fight or flight kind of mode. And the brain interprets that as confirmation. You see, this feels real, so it must be true. And then the repetition reinforces the identity. So every time this loop happens, the neural pathway gets stronger. It becomes automatic. The thought and the emotion fuse into an identity. And then you get to the point where you're like, this is just who I am. Even if your circumstances have changed from the original beginning of when this all started, your internal programming keeps you stuck in the same cycle, thinking and feeling like your past. Okay, so your body has become addicted to the loop. And so let's say you've spent years doing that. Now you're stuck in that loop, right? Because you have the thought invokes the emotion reinforces the identity, and then the same thought comes back again, and that becomes the loop. And this is where self-sabotage lives. And it's not because you're broken, but because your body has been programmed to expect the familiar discomfort of fear or doubt or failure. And so that's what the body gets addicted to. So the body memorizes the emotional states. It craves the familiar, the familiar emotions, which are feeding your body, a fear, doubt, guilt, and then it runs old patterns even without triggers. And so the body has gotten addicted to the mental loop. But here's the truth about you. We're going on to number 3. You're not your thoughts or your feelings. You are the awareness that observes them. And so I am is the selector, not the loop. And so you have to become aware that you are not the mental loops. You are not your past. You are simply the awareness that hears the thought, that feels the emotion, and that has the power to choose something different. And so this is very powerful because once you develop that awareness, then you are able to start breaking these loops. Once you come to the realization that this is what you're doing. And so there is a power that we have, and this is where we bring in the power of I am. Okay. So when you say I am a loser, I am failure, I am not getting things right, I am whatever follows I am, that is what you are invoking as that you are. So I am is stating that you are something. It's not wishful thinking, it's a command that is what's going to be created into your reality. And when you speak it with awareness, it becomes a force that allows you to reclaim your identity. So we can interrupt this loop pattern that we're stuck in once we become aware of what I am is. So it's very important to become aware of that. So if you're ever feeling like you are stuck in the past and you want to start getting those changes, it's important that you know what's going on over here, that you're not your thoughts or your feelings, that you are the awareness behind those thoughts and those feelings. So if you're ever feeling like you're stuck in the same day over and over again, like no matter how much you try to change your day, you keep ending back in the same emotional state, it isn't your fault. It's that mental loop that keeps you there. It's those recycled thought emotion patterns that have been wired into your nervous system on repetition over time, and your body has become addicted to those certain emotional states. So your brain is serving up the same thoughts to recreate those feelings. And that's why you keep thinking those feelings over and over again. So, what we need to do is to start catching the loop, right? We're moving on to number 4. You got to start noticing the loop. You got to catch it when it's starting. You pause for a moment and you notice it as a repeated negative thought. All right. And then you got to ask yourself, well, what emotion is this thought feeding? Because it's very important to understand that your thoughts are creating emotions, and those emotions are feeding your body. They're feeding you, right? So, what emotion is this thought feeding? It could be feeding the guilt, the shame, the fear, or the hopelessness. So you name it out loud. Okay, this is a loop. It's not true. It's just a pattern. And then naming it will help you break the spell, and it puts you back into the seat of awareness. When you feel the negative loops come in, you want to take deep breaths. You want to try to make sure that you're conscious that this happened to you, and so you want to breathe. You don't want to get on the emotion and go down the roller coaster, the emotional roller coaster that this will give you. You can also go and take like a walk, do a physical movement of the body, shake your hands, stretch, walk, clap, jump, just anything that will bring you back into the present moment. And so usually doing that can zap you back into the present moment. And then you break the physiological link between the thought and the emotion. You got to declare a new command. So that would be something like, let's say we're talking about I'm not good enough, right? So we're going to replace the old thought, and it's got to be a conscious I am statement. I am safe to grow, or I am choosing a new thought now. I am the creator, not the victim. And in the beginning, this might feel a little weird. You might feel like you're being pulled in different directions, right? Because it does not feel normal to you. It isn't normal to your body. Your body's used to what we've been doing for so long. But what the key is to this is repetition, right? And so you're going to feel it, you're going to anchor it, and it will return again. Choose a new feeling to breathe in to what has been going on. So you're going to choose either peace, joy, power, clarity. And that's going to invoke a feeling in your body. Your body's going to feel it. And then you want to anchor it with intention and repeat it as many times as you need until your loop weakens. So practice building that new pattern. Awareness replaces reaction, and you live from creation, not memory. So this isn't really about positive thinking. It's more of interrupting those patterns that are on autopilot, that are running. They're running your body. They're running the show. You can reclaim your mental space and program something new. And the more you do it, the weaker the loop is going to get. You're not fighting the loop, you're retraining the nervous system. So that's why this is very important work to do. And so it's important for you to know that interrupting the loop and installing a new mental command is what's going to help you get out of these mental loops. You want to practice this consistently. You will stop. Notice that you're going to start reacting to the triggers and you start responding to life. You stop reliving the old story and you begin creating a new one. You stop surviving and you're now creating. And this is how you're going to reclaim your mind, not by force, but by awareness, by repetition, and by aligned action. So, integration and embodiment. Practice builds the new pattern. Awareness replaces the reaction, and you're going to live from creation, not memory. So, remember this, mental loops are not your truth. They are just echoes, habitual emotional responses looking for your attention. They usually happen on autopilot, but you are the pattern breaker. You are the one who can choose again. You are the one who rewrites the loop, and that is where your power begins. So, if this lesson speaks to you, why don't you go ahead and drop the words "I am free" in the comments? This is something that is going to really be beneficial if you're able to accomplish this in your life. And if you're ready to go deeper, you can download the Thinking Habit Blueprint below. This is like a personal guide that we've developed for you guys to help you break loops and reclaim your focus, identity, and mind. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us for this video. You can go ahead and subscribe, give us a like and a follow. We're on all social platforms. We are on Facebook. We have a Facebook page and a Facebook group called The Thinking Habit. We also have a TikTok and an Instagram with the username The Thinking Habit. And of course, we have our website where we post content every day that you can check out, which is www.thethinkinghabit.com. So again, thank you. My name is Beta Mejia, and it's been a pleasure having you guys for our first episode. And I hope you continue to come and follow us for this journey because we're just getting started. Thank you.